Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. On this episode, we have on John Davidson from Johnny Longlegs and the Brummies. We talk about how he's always wanted to be a dad, his journey to become a dad, and his birthing stories. We also talk about Johnny Longlegs, his kids' music persona, and why his new album, My Everything, is so important to him, and how he made the album. Make sure to check out Johnny Longlegs and listen to it with your kids. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, and pretty much anywhere you find music, and we hope you enjoy the episode. So my wife is from Birmingham. I see you have you have a 205 area code.
Right.
What year did you graduate high school? Like, when did you leave Birmingham?
I left Birmingham in 2011. So I graduated high school in 2006.
Okay.
I went to college at UAB.
Cool.
And then I left immediately the same week I graduated college. I moved to Nashville, or I had a meeting in Nashville with a publisher.
Yeah.
And then a few months later I moved here.
So you and Alex Hall have a very similar story, except he didn't go to college. He went from high school to Nashville.
Yeah, I could have saved 5 years and got a head start like he did. And Birmingham is a pretty small city.
Yeah.
In general. So, but I love it. I love going back. I love being from there.
It's changed a lot. My wife and I would have started dating in 2008. Her parents haven't lived there for a while, but whenever we go back, I feel like every time we go back, there'd be like tons of new restaurants, like downtown changed drastically. I mean, like her dad worked at UAB for like 20 years. And he'd always talk about how much like that area around UAB changed and how drastically it was.
Yeah. A lot of people are moving back into the city. A lot of, funding has gone back into getting people back into the city. And I love seeing it kind of revamp like that. And a lot of restaurants, a lot of, bars and stuff to go to. And, I didn't have a whole lot of that whenever I was living there, so I enjoy seeing it. I just wish they had it when I was there, but it's good. It's good to be able to visit and do that whenever I go back. So that's nice. What did your father-in-law do, or what does he do at UAB?
He would have left UAB like 2015 or so. He was a CFO for the radiology department.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've spent a lot of time at the hospital there between my dad and myself. Yeah. So it's so a place that's near and dear to me.
Okay, cool. So you're pretty familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was actually there. I had cancer in 2012.
Oh man.
Okay.
Which is kind of a part of the whole miracle of being a dad, because it was testicular cancer.
Oh, dude.
And didn't know if I'd be a dad or not. And so that's why I spent a lot of time at UAB, went through chemo, and I mean, UAB saved my life, in a way. So, it makes it even that much more special. Not only am I an alumni, but I'm also, a patient.
Yeah, that's a great story, man. I'm glad that everything worked out. And
Just dive right in here, man.
You know what? I thought actual college alma mater banter. No, man, this
We're getting deep quick.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Well, glad everything worked out.
Yes, yeah. So far, so good. I think I'm good at this point. two kids later, I think it's safe to say that we're good there.
Yeah. How many? So you have two kids. How old are they?
I do. I have a son who just turned 7, and a daughter who is about to be 3.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind me asking? I'm trying to think of the word.
Are you trying to say how common is it to still be able to get pregnant?
Yes, there we go.
Oh, man, I don't really know what that percentage is. I know the survival rate of that type of cancer is very high. So I never saw it as being that much of a threat, just more of a speed bump for me.
Gotcha.
But we didn't know. With the surgery and the chemo and all that, what would be possible.
Yeah.
So I went and went to the cryopreservation area just in case and had things frozen.
Okay.
Just in case I wasn't able to naturally have children.
Smart.
And paid for that for years, and then got lucky and had children the natural way. But I'm not sure what the percentage is there. I just know that we took the proper precautions, and I knew that I always wanted to be a dad, so we did what was necessary to make sure that was going to be possible.
Yeah, that's cool.
How long have you been married for?
Like Alex, also got married in 2020.
Okay.
Had a COVID wedding.
So no wedding.
So no wedding. There was actually supposed to be a wedding,
Yeah.
but me and the band that I'm in had like a writing retreat like a few weeks before, maybe a week before.
Yeah.
And somebody ended up testing positive
Oh,
and kind of squashed the whole thing.
oh no.
And so what me and my wife did, instead of like reschedule the date, we decided to keep the date. We had her sister there as a witness. We had my son, who was already born there, as well. And so I came up from quarantine and went and took a shower, much needed shower, and got on my best clothes when we got married in my living room.
Nice.
And it was a beautiful thing that happened. Another silver lining of COVID was, had a very unique wedding. In that time. So, but we want to have like reception and all that, later, and do the big thing and really celebrate.
Yeah. So that would have meant like whenever you had cancer and went through chemo and stuff, and you decided to like freeze your sperm, basically, you really knew that you wanted to be a dad. Like you did not want that off the table, even though you weren't like engaged or married or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that, I've known that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was always what I wanted to be. I had a great example, looking at my father and the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
And so I just, I was always in love with my dad, and, wanted that same relationship with somebody, with some kids of my own. And so I always knew that was in the cards. It's something that I wanted if I ever found a woman that would love me enough to to be share parenthood with me.
Yes.
Then I knew that's something that I'd always want. And so
that's cool.
And so it ended up happening in 2017. So I've enjoyed being a dad now for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Well, congrats.
That's awesome, man.
So it's great. How about you guys? Your kids? How many and how old?
I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and he'll be 3 in September. Year old.
Wonderful. Yep. Busy.
Yep. Two girls and a son.
Are you done with that, Devin, or are you planning on having more?
Oh no, I've been done since January of 2022, I think. So, yeah.
I'll be asking you about that shortly after baby number 2 is born.
If the biggest thing I can say about getting a vasectomy is there's a specific type of underwear that makes a world of difference. Just gives you a hug like at all times in an area of your body you never would have anticipated to be filled with pressure. Talking to the guy who had testicular cancer, but it's just very weird to be bruised in an area.
I need to know this either way. I'm not sure if you get commission on this or not, but I need to know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a form of boxer briefs, and it just hugs real tight. And
what kind are they?
I don't know off the top. I don't have it like saved. I'll look it up and I'll
you can't talk about just caressing and feeling amazing and then not tell us what it is.
This is
you're
not how endorsements work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is why we don't get paid to do this podcast, just so you know. We're the people who are like, do you know the show with the thing and the person who does the thing?
Yeah.
The thing is really good. You should try it sometime.
Well,
anyway. But yes, Justin, say how many kids you have.
So I have one, and she is almost 3. She's a couple days younger than his youngest.
Third born.
And I've got another one on the way end of October. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So
you said boy?
Yep.
Oh man, excellent.
But yeah, after that I will be having to have that surgery as well. So
you'll also be 40. So you'll just be old and decrepit.
Yeah.
And it's just only
Yep. I mean, look at my beard, it's all gray.
I know.
Man,
only gonna get
I
worse.
feel like the closer you get to 40, I mean, your body starts to ache everywhere. And,
I know.
And creak.
Believe me, I'm feeling it.
Creak.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, I'm feeling it. I'm starting to do these morning exercises where I'm just like doing like these jumps and arm swings, and I mean, I'm just constantly searching on ways to feel better.
Yeah.
You're like Googling like basic preschool calisthenics, and you're like, oh, this is a good workout. Like, I got to touch my toes. Oh man, I didn't know I had to do this today.
Canceling my gym membership, and I'm just going to do it right here in the living room.
There you go.
Jumps.
To become friends with a gym teacher. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Heck, man, the gym teachers, they were what, 60 years old and still doing
man.
pretty good.
Still can do push-ups.
That's
That's more than I
right.
can do.
That's right. My high school gym teacher, he was always speed walking, and I had to look him up. He was pretty old when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I looked him up, and he looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
He's really mastered whatever he's going on there. So I need to learn his tricks.
Yeah. Since you have your kids at the ages that you do, what was it like having a kid before COVID and having a kid during COVID? Because you would have had your second kid like in 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like those birth experiences were different? Because I'm sure they were drastically different.
Totally different. I mean, the first one is hard to even like think about that because it wasn't even a thing, and so it was. It was scary as the first one.
Yep.
Everything was brand new. I consider myself a kid at that point still too. I was like, I'm still just a boy. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. And that was with Oliver, and then with Luna, we had to have masks on every time we went to the hospital or we went to baby company. I think it's Vanderbilt now.
Yeah.
So, we were there, and it was like, you had to be extra careful, and the world was just different then. And so, I don't know. I mean, with going to the Vanderbilt birthing center, it was all kind of one-on-one anyway, and so there wasn't a whole lot of interaction with a lot of people. So you had like your nurse that you were dealing with, and it was just different with masks, and you're like, what world am I bringing this person into?
Yeah.
Because it was such a weird time of going through it, at that point. And I don't know. I mean, I'm very happy now. Like, it's obviously the best things that could ever happen in life is becoming a dad. And my second one being a daughter, it's just I've kind of checked off both boxes there, and they're two completely different people who couldn't be less alike, which is such a weird thing. But I don't know, like, the experience with COVID coming on, I mean, it is what it is. You kind of learn as you go, and nothing's going to stop it, and you're going to fall in love either way. And I knew that we wanted to have another one. I knew that we wanted Oliver to have a sibling, and our family wasn't complete without at least 4 of us in it. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My one and only I had during COVID, or my wife had during COVID, and I have no idea what to expect from this new one, because that's all I know of is wearing the mask. We weren't allowed out of the room. Every single time that somebody came into the room, we would have to put the mask back on. I mean, holy crap. It was just anxiety ridden.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like during COVID, everything's is scary, and the questions aren't answered yet. You don't know anything, and you're like, this immune system is not even remotely built up yet.
Yeah. Yep.
And what's going to happen if somebody comes in contact who does have COVID, with my newborn? You worry about those kind of things. But fortunately, we didn't have to deal with that. But those are things that go through your head, and you're like, what needs to happen here? Are there, what precautions can we take? Are there vaccinations that can help?
Yeah. Well, everything was just so uncertain.
Right. What year was your baby born? 2021 or 20?
2021. Yeah. September 2021.
September?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we have an August baby.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I remember. So my son would have been September also of 21. And I remember he was 10 days late. So around like day 5 or 6, I was like, what can I do to prep for this? And I drove to Vanderbilt. We didn't do the birthing center. We did like the midwife stuff at Vandy. And I remember driving to the emergency room area and be like, hey, can you just tell me, like, when we walk in, what's the fastest way to get to the birthing section? Because this is like part emergency room, part people waiting to be taken upstairs. So like the last thing I want to do is have us sit in a room with people who might have COVID while we're about to go into labor. Like, how do I avoid that? And like, I just walk over there and I'm like, cool. This is not like a everyday thing for me to know where to walk to. And they're just like, oh yeah, and you just go over there, you'll be fine. And I'm like, I appreciate your confidence in this scenario because I'm just trying to make sure we don't get COVID while my wife is also in labor. That's all I'm trying to do.
Hey, well, hats off to you and your due diligence for doing that, man.
Got to do something, man. It's like the last. Whenever your kid is late, you'll just kind of sit around. You're like, so what else can we do? What let's go through this. Start talking to like midwives. Let's like start Googling like what is this? Go down some weird rabbit trails.
Yeah. I did not have to do that. We had a scheduled C-section, so we knew just come in at this time, this day, and that was it.
That's nice to kind of take the guesswork out of it because I mean, with our first one, we went to Baby and Company. At that point, it was still Baby and Company, and they had they said her fluid was low, and so we couldn't birth there anymore. So we had to go to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
And it was just a much different experience than with my daughter, which we did get to have her with the midwives and at Vanderbilt Birthing Center.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's scary. There's a lot of doctors at one point because we almost had an emergency C-section because they lost his heartbeat. And they scrubbed me up real quick, made her sign a thing, and there was about 20 people in the room. And I mean, I'm just looking around. She's scared. I'm scared. And we're just like, okay, well, they know what they're doing. Let's just do what we got to do to make sure, baby's healthy, you're healthy.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it was a wild experience. And between the morphine and that experience, we had a lot of stories to tell going through that experience.
It's really crazy. Our first kid was 10 days early, and it was a 26-hour labor. So I have a friend, her birthday is on February 6th. She was born at like 1 a.m. on February 6th. And I have a friend whose birthday is February 5th. So I always text him on February 5th every year. And I'm like, just as a reminder, my wife was in labor once for the entirety of your birthday. There wasn't a minute of your birthday one year in which she wasn't in labor. Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, my goodness. That is such a long time.
Can
you imagine?
No. But I do think it's a thing that like when you're discussing becoming a dad, giving birth, all of this stuff, that's like the birthing process is something as a man you have like zero control over. So you go to birthing company, you go somewhere, and you're like, okay, cool, let's go and let's have this baby. And they're like, hey, your fluid's low. We have to take you somewhere else. And you're like, oh, this is different. And then like all the doctors are like, so what do you think what do you want to do now? And you're like, not have my wife and child die? That's kind of my main goal. Like,
goal number one
is limit the death.
Yeah. Let's do none of those, please.
Yes.
Yeah. And like we had our birthing plan kind of sorted out. And then fortunately a midwife came from Baby Company over to Vanderbilt and really searched for the heartbeat one more time before they, we had to go under a C-section. When I say we, I mean my wife. And fortunately, the very last moment, they found his heartbeat.
That's scary.
And brought her back in and just scared us to death, And it was just a wild, crazy experience. They had me the hairnet, everything, the scrubs on, ready to take me down the hall to where they were about to do the thing. So I'm thankful for the midwife who came down there and said, this is not what they want. This is important to them. Let's look one more time and try to see if we can find that heartbeat. So it's crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. After we did our first labor and delivery, we hired doulas for the next two births because you need another advocate in the room with you because doctors are going to look at everything from a very different perspective. Where a doula, you can be like, hey, here's what we want. Here's how we're feeling about stuff. And they know how to advocate for you. And that was an element of the birthing process I didn't anticipate is how do you advocate for your wife while she's in labor and in pain and you weren't sure if the baby will stay alive or not. It's like, I'm not qualified to know the correct words or phrases to say at all.
Yeah. Same. And that's very good to have. We talked about doing the same thing because, you see the importance of it right there going through an experience like that.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I wouldn't have known any different because I was just like, yep. Okay. You're the doctors. You must. Yeah. You're in charge here.
This is my first time
we're just kind of
30th, so you probably know what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm just like, are they just trying to get on with their day or do they care? I don't know. You never know. So it's just like, that's my wife and that's my baby in there. So like, what can we do? So I'm thankful for the midwife in that scenario.
Yep. So, but Justin, if you're doing a planned C-section for your second one, a doula can still help, but it's different. It's just a different experience with a doula for a planned C-section.
I don't think Haley has determined what she wants to do yet.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Anyway,
Devin, you didn't have any of your kids have to do the C-section?
No, it was all Heather's did natural for all three of them. Yeah.
And
or
John,
vaginal, whatever the
you didn't have to do any C-section? It was
no.
It was literally like it felt like maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, and everything was so precise. Of all right, you guys need to be here at this time. All right, we're moving you into this at this time. All right, at this time we're gonna be cutting her open, and by this time you're gonna have your kid. All right, well then you're out the door. So it wasn't a 26 hours. Yeah, it was a half an hour to an hour before we were up in our room with our beautiful baby girl. So I didn't have to have any questions asked of me. All I did was just sit there and hold on to Haley.
Yep.
That's kind of nice too. I mean, if you want a schedule like that without any of the kind of unplanned emergencies or scary things like that to pop up, that's nice to have that that kind of calm schedule about it. That way you know what's going on. Everything's to a schedule, and this is the plan. Then that is a wonderful thing. We just.
But yeah, for the birthing, it just sounds total 180.
Yeah,
so much uncertainty, so much just kind of chaos. Maybe not so much physically, but just mentally inside, a lot of chaos going.
Yeah, and our son was like, I feel like it was around 16 hours, something like that. So, pretty long time to go through all that. And then my daughter was from contractions. We got here from like the beginning of contractions, got to the birthing center within 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes later, we had our daughter.
Oh, wow.
And then less than 5 hours later, we were heading home.
Oh, wow.
So they just by 12:30 that night, we were back in the car heading home. And I was thinking, is this legal? Are we allowed to just go in and just have a baby real quick and just go home? It felt like we made a purchase or something. It was weird.
That was also definitely a COVID difference, because whenever we had Holly, our oldest, everyone was like, oh, we might need to keep you longer for these reasons. With Magnolia, our second kid, was the same. But with Joshua, it was like, yeah, you get 36 hours, then we really need this bed back. Because everything was so bed count was different, how many people stayed in rooms and all that.
Where did you have Josh at?
Vandy. We did Vanderbilt for all three.
All right. Yeah, we did St. Thomas Midtown. And we actually stayed for 3 or 4 days, I think. Mainly because Ada had a tongue tie. We had to get that surgically done. She was having a lot of lactation problems at the very beginning. Yeah. But yeah, luckily we got to stay a little bit longer because of that, so we could figure out the game plan.
All that stuff. Yep.
But
yeah.
Doesn't seem too inviting to kick you out after. Yeah.
No.
All right, time's up. You got to go.
Well, our son, we were in the ICU for a week, about a week straight. So they moved us to another room. They he couldn't pee. They had there's a piece of skin that hadn't opened up or something, so they had catheterize him so he could pee. And you got to pee before they release you.
You do.
And so we're he's not peeing. So my mother-in-law was actually the one who discovered what was going on there. And I was like, poor guy can't pee. Welcome to Earth.
Oh man.
And so
that's got to be miserable.
Yeah, so we had to. It's terrible. And so they kept us for about a week, and so that was a wonderful thing. Finally getting to go home after that.
Yeah,
which is so funny how stark the differences are between that experience and the other one.
Yeah,
a week or 5 hours.
Yeah, basically, a week.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
you might like you're sitting there next to your wife and being like signing, like putting a wig on, a hairnet on, basically to be like, okay, we're about to have a C-section because I don't know if my baby died or not.
Yeah.
To
Jeez.
you want to be home in time for the late show? Do you think we can make it?
Well, Devin, for those 26 hours, did you end up like, were you awake for those 26 hours, or did you get any sleep at all?
Not really. I mean, I slept more than my wife did, but that's not really saying much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's having a labor that long is a whole journey. Her water broke on like a Thursday night at like 10 p.m. or something like that. Our labor started with her water breaking. So normally that's the end of the labor process.
Yeah.
So everything was just kind of like, what do? We didn't want to do an epidural, but after she had labored for 12 hours and didn't really progress, it was like, we kind of need an epidural. And then still 12 hours later was whenever her body was ready to start pushing. So like, talk about a birthing plan. Everything on a birthing plan is not what happened at all. So, I mean, so yeah, nope. You just, after a while you're like, I don't know what happens. That's why I really say get a doula if you can, because if it's hour 12 or 13 and the doctors are like, nothing is progressing, what do you want to do? You're like, I don't know. I'd like, this is 9 days before our due date. We started with the water breaking. None of this is what I thought would happen. And I've never done this before. And it's not my body. I can't I'm not going to make a decision for my wife on this. So it's a doula in those scenarios. As I came in here, the best way I know to put it is a doula is like, here's what normal is. Here's how this normally works. Here's the variations. And you're like, cool. I feel educated now. Now I can make a decision.
Yeah. Noted. I will. I'll definitely talk to Haley about that.
Yes.
We haven't talked any about your new album though.
Your profession.
Yeah.
Your career.
I don't get to talk about birthing stories to anybody, so I'm enjoying this.
All right, well, we can keep on doing it.
Yeah. It was traumatic. I need somebody.
Like, legitimately, it's one thing that, like, if we can ever get our act together with this podcast, I would love to consistently have dads on to tell, because I know a lot of dads who have been like, yeah, I thought my wife was going to die. I thought my baby was going to die. I thought I was going to go from welcoming a child into the world to being alone. And then suddenly being like, actually, no, they're all alive and everything's fine. And you're like, I just went down some dark places.
Yeah, you went from 0 to 100, then back down to 0.
So you kind of have to face that reality for a little bit. Yeah, yep. That is a terrifying thing to do.
Yeah,
it is. So thank you for being willing to discuss it, because I do think it's an outlet that men and father need, is just to be like, dude, this was really stressful. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it. And also, it gives you perspective of, how strong, these women are to go through that. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just no possible way I could do what they did. Nope. And I mean, it's
Heather's a
wild
champ.
And beautiful thing, and very thankful for it.
Yep.
God.
Justin, ask him about his music and side project. I'm going to grab a diaper and a change of clothes for Josh, because I can hear them finishing up in the bath, and I know that happens next.
I can hear them. Such a dad thing to have to do.
I love it.
All right, man. Well, John, you were in a band, and you did this side project called Johnny Longlegs. What?
That's right.
Did you write every single song that was in there? What inspired you to do a kids album like that?
So I still play in a band, and I'm always like writing and playing music around the house. But whenever you have a kid who's like toddling around and watching you play guitar, and I'm just like jamming around the house, I'm making up songs about whatever he's doing, or like whatever's happening in the situation, So it's the most natural thing that's ever happened musically for me, really. So it's just in the living room playing, just noodling around on the nylon gut string, because it's just easier to play, and everything sounds better. And I'm just singing to him, just kind of not even thinking about what I'm singing. And the first thing that actually came out was the title of the album, My Everything. Mm-hmm. And the whole verse kind of just came out, and then the chorus, I have a voice recording of it. You can kind of hear some mumbling, and then you hear like, you are this, you are that, and the end of the chorus gets to you are my everything. And you can kind of hear the moment where I'm like, oh, that might be something. And it's just cool, because that came out of like me just like pretty much having a conversation with my son through a song. And the next day I went into co-write with my bandmate, the guy I grew up with, and co-writing partner, and my other friend and writing partner. And just kind of, I told him that I had this idea, and we just wrote the rest of the song, and it came out beautifully. And that was the first song that happened on the record, and that sparked really the rest of the album. It kind of, there's some spark came out to where, just like, this might be more of a thing here, and let's just keep singing to my son and see what happens. So I would just go downstairs and start putting down some ideas, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? This is a perfect opportunity to kind of make some memories and make some songs and fill my time and do something special with my wife, who sings on the album as well. She does a lot of the harmonies, and a ton of snippets of my son singing, like when he's first able to kind of form words. He's able to get out just a little bit, the smallest bit. So I have him say it a lot, and then I put it into the song. I'm like, there we go. And so he's singing on it. My wife's singing on it. My dad came up and played and wrote for some of it as well. And so it's just an all around 3-generation experience and project that we all had together. That it's the most proud. I'm the most proud of this than I am of anything.
That's cool, man.
On the Wake Up song, the first song, how old was your son whenever he's screaming "Wake Up" on that song?
He was, I guess he was 3.
Okay,
he might have been.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 3, maybe early.
Yeah,
early 3. Because I remember you're like, I can't really understand it. Scream it again,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love those moments having his little voice.
Yeah.
On there. But yeah, he might have just turned 3.
Cool.
Because that was all around 2020 when they were written and recorded.
Sweet. So you've been working on this for a good 3 or 4 years?
I've been kind of just sitting on it, I didn't really know how to put it out. I didn't know if it was just going to be just a passion project that I would just kind of throw out there. And then my publisher at the time I let him hear it, and they were just kind of like, this might be more than just like an album that you just kind of put out, with, just to put out there. They wanted to kind of see what was going on behind it. So I got, some people to listen to it and to work with me and kind of form a team to properly get it out there.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 questions for you, music related. Did you ever listen to like the Get Up Kids or the New Amsterdams?
I didn't, but I've become aware. I'd had no idea about children's music other than like, Barney or, like whatever I heard growing up as a kid.
Yeah. What are these?
And so,
what are these, Devin?
Okay. So they're the lead singer of the Get Up Kids. It was also in a side project called the New Amsterdams. And whenever he was like in the early 2000s, he really hated kids music. So he created another side band called the Terrible Twos, in which they write songs like, I only want chocolate, I want chocolate cake for breakfast. Dinosaurs Can Be Friends is another one on there about his kids not falling asleep and stuff. But like, there's like dads like you who are musicians, and they're like, I really don't like this kids music. I think like this is kind of naturally happening. Like I'd much rather listen to a song of someone screaming it's wake up time than doing the ABCs or counting to 5 again.
Dude, that's exactly kind of how it started with me as well. Once I kind of dove into it and decided this is going to be a thing, is most of the things that I'm hearing are, I'm tired of them by, the 3rd or 4th play really. And I'm trying to like bring some kind of musicality that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And maybe parents can enjoy as well as, be catchy enough for kids, to want to, sing as well. So trying to find that common ground so parents, don't pull their hair out. Maybe it takes 10 times this time to listen to it before you're totally tired of it.
Exactly. Listening to Wheels on the Bus go round and round 20 times is not good for you?
It's not therapeutic?
No, not so much.
I know. So yeah, that's that was part of the whole thing as well. It's just trying to be as creative as I could musically, but also have this to be digestible for children, to listen to and grasp onto. And so yeah, it was fun to challenge myself and to do that, but also see if it was working with my children, and then like play it for my nieces and nephews and other friends of the kids,
Yeah.
and see if it was working or not. And so, yeah, it's been really cool to see, the kids' reactions to it, as well as the parents be like, "Thank you for this. This is they're enjoying it too." And so that just means the world to me.
Yeah.
The presence of the United States of America.
Yes.
Yep.
You know that
Casper.
band?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the lead singer of that, I think his name is Mr. Krabby Pants.
Yeah. Or Casper Pants or something like that. Yeah.
He has like 19 records out or something like that. So he's
What?
made a full career out of this
Mm-hmm.
thing. So he's done it. Josh Lovelace from Need to Breathe has done it.
Oh yeah.
Lisa Loeb has had a lot of success with it.
Yep.
A lot of artists that we know have kind of taken this leap and have done well with it. So it's been an eye opener.
Yeah.
It's been cool to see. So we'll see if there's a sophomore album at some point. I feel like I have to, since my daughter wasn't around for this one.
Yep.
She'll feel slighted, and so
she will.
She'll beat me up. She's the one I got to worry about.
That's right. But no, man, your kids' album is fun. I made my kids listen to it in the car today, and they giggled every time for the wake up song. Whenever your son screams "wake up" at the end of it, and you've got all that reverb on his last scream, and I'm just like, I love it.
Well, my son loved it as well. He constantly comes down here and gets on the microphone. He's like, "Turn the microphone on."
Yeah, man.
And I'll just put all the effects on it. And I mean, I'm like, well, I got to work at some point, guys.
Yeah.
They love it. They enjoy coming down here and messing around and being a part of it. I'm glad they enjoy it. Hopefully they don't wear it out and then wake you up at 6 a.m. with "wake up." in that case, I'm sorry. I'm glad it's working and it's the earworm that I hoped it would be. But I apologize to you.
Hey, that's okay. You know what? We'll see. I might have a grudge later. We'll find out later.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything before we start, like to wrap up the episode and everything? Is there anything else you want to say about Johnny Longlegs, or any other detail about it you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really just happy with the project. I mean, if nothing else happens with it, then I am just so thrilled that I have it for my family, for having that little snapshot of time with my son, with my wife, and my dad. That is such a beautiful thing that that's the best thing I could ask for. And we have like 2 music videos that was like professionally done, that my son he's like acting in. He made me pay him. He made me pay him $5, which I thought was a pretty good deal. I wrote the contract just in case he comes back later. I'm like, you signed the contract, $5 is what we agreed to. I mean, take it up with my lawyer.
Starting them off early.
But we had those videos, and then my wife made a video for the title track that came out last Friday, and it's just a beautiful thing that she did of the kids growing up, and it's
cool.
It made me emotional watching it, because it shows you how fast these times are just flying by, and you might wish that your baby wasn't a newborn all of a sudden, because life's going to be easier when they can tell you what they want. But then you look back at these photos and these videos, and you're like, man, I miss it. We're not going to get that anymore. We won't have that back. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of puts things in perspective, which is the thing that I'm you kind of get out of that. Another silver lining out of this whole thing that we're finding here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just very happy with it. I'm happy for the reception that it's getting. I'm happy for anybody who gets joy out of it, and that's all I could ask for.
I mean, you've basically created a time capsule of what it was like in your life whenever you're early in being a parent. So I don't think you'll always appreciate that. You'll always probably be really proud with the fact that you were able to do this.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And then I'm looking forward to the next time. I have to do at least one more, like I said, because Luna won't allow it to not happen. So she'll be the motivation I need to get to work.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what was Johnny Longlegs a nickname of yours, or how'd you come up with the name?
My nephew would call me Johnny Bones, and then it turned into Johnny Longlegs.
Okay.
And then so there's been just a different array of different names that my first nephew would give me. And so he calls me anything but my name. So I adopted it. And if he hears this, he'll probably be asking for some kind of royalty. I'm like, man.
He didn't trademark it. I mean, did he register it though as a trademark before you got to it?
I don't know.
All right, your nephew texted me before the episode to try to get you on camera saying that.
Yeah. He's like, I got him. By the way, redacted. I don't know. I'm a skinny, tall dude with long legs, and I had this photo, the photo that's on the album cover. My dad actually drew. He drew a cartoon for every song. So originally, I wanted to do a coloring book to go with inside of the panel of the CD, or do a separate coloring booklet. Yeah, never got around to doing that, but I have artwork for each song, and that was kind of the main photo for the cover that my dad drew. So he did the artwork, and
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a complete family affair that's going on here. But it was me with super long legs, and it seemed fitting. So it kind of presented itself to me.
That's awesome. I'm gonna start winding down the episode. I'm gonna start putting it to bed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. So
I'm nervous.
How we end every episode is we ask every guest the same 5 questions. It's not rapid fire. You have time to think about it. So Justin will ask the first question.
Yeah. John, did you have any backup names for your children?
Oh no. No.
No.
Mm-mm. Well, okay, yes, not for Oliver, because Oliver's name was it was kind of set before we even got pregnant.
Okay.
My wife and I were dating. We were actually at the Pirates of the Caribbean line at Disney World, and we're just sitting there waiting in line. We're dating and doing what young couples do. It's like, if we ever had a family, what would our kid's name be? So we manifested Oliver, but we already knew he would be Oliver before we ever got pregnant. And Wayne is his middle name, and that's a family name. That's my dad's middle name. So we wanted to keep that going. So no, we already knew his name, but Luna, we originally in the Pirates of the Caribbean line, if we had a daughter, we wanted an Abigail at the time, or Abby. Mm-hmm. And so we actually did pivot from Abby, and decided that we ended up liking Luna better because Oliver was our son, and we wanted a moon as well.
That's cool.
And so we have Oliver and Luna have that little tattoo on my leg with the sun and moon.
That's cool,
for both of my kids. And so, yeah, Luna Joy. My wife wanted Joy. I wanted a kind of a weird one. Alan is also a family name, and I wanted to do like a more of a feminine spelling of it, like an Allyn, because my middle name's Alan. There's a ton of people on both sides with Alan. So, but that got vetoed quickly, and it turned into Luna Joy, and it's the right move. She is definitely she's a little monster, but she's also joyful as well. So she also earns the name as well. So there's the first one was set. The second one was a pivot, and it worked out perfectly.
Your wife was probably like, you already got the middle name for the first kid. Like, it's already the family name. You can't get 2. It's greedy.
It wasn't. I like to think it was a discussion. It was not.
It was a very short discussion.
Yeah. I was like, all right. I'm not birthing these children. And that was, if that card gets dealt, then I'm like, well, okay.
Game over.
Okay, got
it. Yeah.
Next question. Do you have a favorite TV dad?
Ooh, TV dad. For some reason, Stu Pickles just is the first person that came in my head. I don't even know what his demeanor was, other than being kind of absent.
Who is Stu Pickles?
It's the 90s dad. It's the Rugrats dad.
Oh my gosh! Holy crap!
I think he was pretty much just hanging around and not really around and doing anything with the kids, as far as I could think. But I don't know why he popped in my head. That's not who I want to be like.
That was Howie Mandel, was it not?
That's
Was
Bobby's
it?
World. That's Bobby's World.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Useless.
I'm sorry. Rugrats.
That's
I think I was
that's
too old for Rugrats.
I know Mark Mothersbaugh did the music.
Okay.
And he was, I think, in Devo.
He was in Devo. Yes, he was.
So random tidbit. Dad,
you can go Stu Pickles.
Yeah.
Part of it is because it's ingrained in you who a TV dad is. But if you want to stop and think about a real one, that's okay.
No, Bluey would be who I would like to be like.
Yep.
Bandit is. I mean, I try to find David McCormick. Get him on here somehow.
Oh, dude, if only.
Get him, because I try to find him on podcasts and he just doesn't do them.
Nope.
And that is the content I'm looking for, because I want to be Bandit. I want to. Yep. He's the best, and I watch Bluey without my children.
Yep.
And cry to sleepy time. And have you seen the latest one, The Sign?
Yeah. Okay.
Are y'all caught up?
Imagine moving your family across the country and then The Sign comes out.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then they're like, Dad, are you going to rip the sign out of the front yard? And you're like, no, I'm not.
Oh man, I didn't think about that. That's tough.
Yep.
I mean, I weep. I weep to Bluey.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm a pretty easy crier anyway. So, we went and watched Inside Out 2 recently.
Oh, is it good?
If you've seen that.
Yep.
We just watched the first one today.
Really?
Yeah. With a.
Did you cry?
I've seen it before, but I did get emotional. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We were there with our 3D glasses on. Thank goodness. I mean, I'm not ashamed of crying, but it was just an absurd amount of tears.
Yep.
I was dehydrated afterwards because it was so good.
Yep.
Such a fan. But yeah, anyway, sorry, back to your question. It's Bandit, it's Bluey, it's David McCormick. He's my guy.
I will say Inside Out 2 is I think why Bluey, Inside Out are such powerful content or movies and stuff is because, I mean, like the message of Inside Out 2 is basically you're as much the things that you're good at as the things that you're bad at. And you are beautiful and everything. And there's beauty and good to you in whatever you do. If we would have heard that message, I mean, imagine hearing that message as a kid. Like, hey man, when you do something good, you're worth loving. When you do something bad, you're worth loving. Like, that's not a mess. Like, that's not what culture told us growing up.
No, other than like Mr. Rogers, it was hard to come. It's hard to find that kind of thing. And so I'm glad that we have moved into that arena now, and that mental health is becoming more of a sought after thing, and has much more awareness.
Yep.
Because now, we know that, there's things that you might not feel comfortable talking about, and we're normalizing things that we didn't have an opportunity to, even talk about as kids. So, and like anxiety being one of those things.
Anxiety is a main character in a movie. That would you didn't even discuss anxiety whenever we were kids.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't even know what it was.
I don't know if the word existed in the same way.
Might not have.
No, and like in the scene where Joy couldn't touch anxiety, couldn't grab it, and it's just
I mean, like,
so powerful. That writing is incredible.
This is a spoiler, but the movie displays that like a 13-year-old can have a panic attack. And I never, I know I felt panic attacks at that age. I know I felt overwhelmed at that age, but no one gave me words to what I felt. So stuff like Bluey, stuff like Inside Out 2, extremely important, because now a kid can feel their chest get tight, feel like they don't know who they are and what they're doing, and have something to relate it to, as opposed to feeling like they're completely alone in it. So there you go. Sorry, side tangent on Inside Out 2. My bad.
Hey, I'm with you. I can go deep in on it, because like how many therapists and counselors did they have to consult? What did that team look like to create that story?
Yep.
It's so good. I'm still not over it, obviously.
Anyway, Justin, next question.
All right. Pivoting from TV dad, do you have a least favorite kids show that just drives you insane?
Ooh, least favorite kids show. I'm well over Blippi. I just can't do Blippi anymore. I couldn't do Blippi for very long. I'm not sure what it is, and nothing against it. I don't know what it is. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I hate disparaging Blippi so much. I mean, you guys,
It's
you
a
know, a
common
lot
answer.
of kids love it. I feel bad.
Don't feel bad, man. It's your opinion.
There's just something about Blippi, though. A lot of dads are like, I just doesn't feel right. Something feels rude. Something feels weird about it.
Something feels weird. I don't know. I don't want to get into the weeds on it all.
Yeah.
Coco Melon's another one.
Yeah.
I just my wife said something about it being like the stimulants, you know, to children's brain just wasn't good, and so that just has like an effect for me. Like I'm like, don't watch that. It's not good for your brain.
Yep.
I don't love for my kids to watch, you know, an awful lot of TV anyway, but yeah, I would say Coco Melon and Blippi have to take the silver and gold there.
That's fair. Next question. Do you have a favorite kids toy or activity? Like whenever your kids play with it, you're like, oh man, let's do this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, my son has a drum set that I love, you know, playing. I love jamming. I love coming down here and they just play on all the instruments. They're welcome to
That's
play on
cool.
anything. And so I love jamming with the kids. Nothing's off limits. And I want them to learn and I want them to be comfortable. I want them to know it's okay to pick up anything and ask any questions. I mean, we had this little Loog guitar. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah.
The
Yep.
little 3 or 4 string ones. And they carry that around all the time and just play it. And I'll play the nylon with that. And sometimes I'll play the Loog, and it's so much fun. And then also we go back to my parents' house, and I had a Jurassic Park set.
Oh, nice.
From like the 93,
Yeah,
like
man.
the 93 compound with the
Yes.
original dinosaurs, all the characters. And we leave that there for my kids and all their cousins to go bring out and to play that together. And it's just so much fun to watch them play, you know, dinosaurs the same way I did and see that thing still get, you know, used. And I'm constantly having to glue little parts, and I'm keeping my eye out on all these toys. I'm like, these are collectibles, and you know, they're also, you know, 30, 36 years old, or you know, 30 years old at least.
Man, we're getting
and
old.
so I know. But you know, they still play with the Jurassic Park toys. I have a lot of them here, and I'm just a huge Jurassic Park fan myself.
Yes.
So it's a little selfish in that way, but they enjoy it as well, and so we have common ground there.
What was your favorite dinosaur in Jurassic Park?
Like toy dinosaur?
Just the dinosaur in the movie.
Oh, T-Rex, baby.
T-Rex.
I mean, we got to go with the king.
Devin, what was yours?
The Triceratops too.
Okay.
That was a great one. And also, like, I just dove in and like learned how they got the air, like they put like an airbag system to make Sam Neill lift up. I know a ridiculous amount about the filming and making of Jurassic Park and everything in between. So, all right, Devin, please, your favorite dinosaur.
I mean, like I played the Jurassic Park video game on Sega a ton, so probably a Velociraptor, because you either played as Sam Neill's character or you played as a Velociraptor. So I gotta go with Raptors. They were fascinating.
All right.
Nice one.
Justin, what about you?
I was a Gallimimus.
What is that?
Huh? Yes.
You don't remember
the
that
ostrich
one?
looking ones that come through the field?
Yeah. That was my favorite. I have no idea why, but that was my favorite when I was a little kid.
So where they're flocking this way?
Yeah.
And they run and jump over the tree,
Yep.
and then the T-Rex comes out and has a little snack.
They were
about,
a calmed down version of a Velociraptor, basically.
Velociraptor that wouldn't eat you.
Yeah.
They're herbivores.
Yep.
They're like a Velociraptor if you remove all the Velociraptor characteristics.
Pretty much.
They have nice, cute teeth.
Again, I have
almost.
no idea why I chose
fun.
that.
Very flat teeth.
That random dinosaur.
They had veneers,
but
they
I
were
remember
good.
it to the beginning.
No. Their claws were actually toenails.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, you know what? That's actually a smart one to go with, because if you're going to have a best friend as a dinosaur, it won't eat you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a good one. But yeah, for me, the T-Rex, the end scene, and then like I remember like the music moving me. It's actually the first piece of music I ever owned was the Jurassic Park cassette.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would play that as a 5-year-old every night.
Yeah.
Before I went to bed, and the music comes on as as the T-Rex saves the adults and the kids from the Velociraptor. And I mean, yeah, you want me to cry?
Yeah,
I'll cry.
You get goosebumps.
It gets me.
All right, Justin.
All right.
Last question.
Last question. What is one moment in your kid's life you're most excited to be a part of? And you can do both kids or just one in general.
Oh man. Ooh. I don't know. I don't want to like wish anything away, any time away to like try to jump ahead to anything. Every moment's so good. I think if they ever do become parents themselves, I think that would be a beautiful moment to see them, because I tell them all the time like that I love them and like, do you know how much I love you? And I don't think you understand how much I love you.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for them to experience that kind of love themselves, because I remember my parents explaining to me that it's a different kind of love and you won't know until you have kids of your own. And they were correct with that. It is a different thing. And so I think it'll be cool for me to see them witness that kind of love and to watch them become parents of their own and, make us, into grandparents, and which evidently is a different kind of love as well. That my parents say, it's like, that is also a different thing that we can't explain to you until you see it and have that. So it's I imagine that will be a special and beautiful moment that would be life-changing and just the absolute best.
Yeah
Cool.
That's awesome. No, that's agreed. I hope that moment happens for you.
Me too. And if not, then that's fine too. Like that's whatever they want to do in their life, that is I support them completely.
Amen, brother.
And if that's not having kids, great.
Yeah. Well, John, this is also where we make sure to give people an opportunity to do some like self-promotion. If we want to listen to Johnny Longlegs, where can we find it? If we want to follow you on Instagram or anything like that, here's a chance to promote yourself if we want to like keep up with you or follow you a little bit more.
Cool. Yeah. It's Johnny Longlegs Music on Instagram. You can follow anything on there, or John Davidson AA is my personal. I post everything from there. And then also like do the band that I'm in, that stuff as well, which is called the Brummies. And then we have music coming out as well. So a lot of music always coming out. But yeah, Johnny Longlegs Music, and you'll be able to keep up to date with all the music that's coming out, and a possible sophomore album at some point.
Are you gonna tour or play any shows as Johnny Longlegs?
And I don't know. I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I think if I were to do it, I would want to do it correctly, which I'd want to hire like a quartet string section. And I want to get some I want my wife to sing harmony.
Yeah.
I'd probably want a third person to sing, the third part harmonies. Yeah. And yeah, because I've thought about how what does this look like? Is it just acoustic? Is it like in Parnassus or something where I'm just like playing, where they sell it or sell the CDs or whatever. It would be a dream to do like a stringed version, like a full production at some point. No plans right now, but
cool.
Nothing's off the table.
Yeah,
so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, man. That
cool.
Sounds good. Well, John, thanks for your time, man. That's all we got. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit.
Excellent. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun to get to know you guys.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Definitely. And thanks for hanging out with us for a bit, man. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. See you next time, man.
Thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nashville Dads, and make sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast, and please give us a 5-star rating. And thank you to Matt Oakes for providing the music for the episode. Catch you next time.